Hi, it's Mike Stevenson here. Today in this video we're going to look at a workload optimization feature within Turbo 360, and the use case is that I have resources in Azure and I would like to schedule the automatic resizing or turning off of my resources. So here we are in the Turbo 360 portal, and on the the left-hand side here, you can see I'm in the scope of my integration team. So I've built a model for managing cost based on a team structure in my organization in this case. So here, the integration team have a bunch of features to be able to manage the costs within that team. And one of those features over on the right here is the optimization area. So we take a look at optimizations, and we've got a feature here called schedules, and this is where I can configure a schedule to be able to manage my resources. So an example of setting this up would be, let's pretend our use case is that we have a UAT environment that people test in, and then during office hours it gets used, but at the end of the day people go home and we want to downsize, turn off our environment so that we minimize the spend overnight, and then when people come back to the office the next day, things are turned up again. So let's create a schedule for this UAT environment. And you can see here the schedule by default is picked 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. is when things are turned on and scaled up. In the evening and weekends, everything's scaled down and turned off. Now you can modify this schedule to suit your specific needs. Next, we would choose the resources to add to this schedule. So a simple example here would be, in the integration team, we have an app service plan. I can choose to make this a P3 plan when it's during the day, so that 9 till 6. And then out of hours, I may make it a P1. So you can see over on the right hand side here, we've got an associated cost saving of $400 if we scale that plan down in the evening. Now, we have a number of different resources available that you can schedule. So that would be the app service plan. We've got things like Cosmos, data factory pipelines, logic apps. I quite like the logic app one actually. If you're using consumption logic apps, we had one customer who you'll see us talk a little bit about this scenario at the Integrator Summit. The logic apps are constantly pinging the service bus, checking for messages, and at scale, when you have lots of logic apps and lots of environments, that tiny cost can accrue up and kind of become quite sizable. So we had one customer saving $1,000 a month, and all you do is you just tick these logic apps you want to add to the schedule here. I think that one's already in a schedule. We've got options with things like SQL database. So in a SQL database, I could say, we could do like a really basic one here of just change the type of plan, but we could also change the number of DTU. So we could maybe make it a 400 DTU during the day, and we could make it a 200 or a 100 in the evening. We could also change the service tiers, for example. So again, you might get some significant cost savings if let's say we make I don't know, let's say maybe that's a bit big, but let's say we had 1,000 DTU premium during the day, and in the evening we went, standard, let's say standard 50 DTUs, and we would get quite a significant cost saving over here from that configuration. Likewise, with a excuse me, with a VM, we can configure a VM to be shut down, out of hours, turned on, scaled up. I think that this VM's actually on a different schedule at the minute. So I've got one for my integration platform. I'm scheduling my data gateways, but if it wasn't already added somewhere else, I just tick the box, and you can see it would by default start and deallocate, and you would get a cost saving associated with that. And the idea is we just want to make it really easy to resize these things. So I would now choose a notification so I can say when the schedule runs, let's go and send a message to tell people that we've ran it, or we can tick this box if we only want to get a notification if it fails. I think I'm just going to, before I save this, I'm going to take that SQL database off so we don't incur a lot of cost here. And really at that point, I'd go create schedule. That creates my schedule. You can see the associated cost savings here, and that would be it just up and running. So we can take a look in the data gateway area. I've got an optimizer already pre-set up here for that VM we looked at before. So you can see we've got a bit of information about how often it runs, what the cost savings would be. I can see the resource here, so we're starting and stopping it. I can add another resource really easily here. So in this scope, I think we've only got the VMs that we've already got, because I've got this one narrowed right down to that data gateway resource group. I can modify the settings here, so you can see with this one, because it's just a demo, I just turn this on between 9 and 10 and turn it off all the other times. But I could easily modify that schedule. And what I'm really trying to do here with this feature is you can use DevOps people within your organization to write scripts, build pipelines to automate these things, but there's a big overhead. It takes time, the maintenance of these things, and your environment's changing all the time. And really what you want to do is you want to just get the value of optimizing the resource. You don't want to take on all the effort of having to write your own custom scripts to do this all the time. So here we're trying to focus on empowering the integration team to take ownership of managing their own resources. In this case, the data gateway server, or it could be that app service, and they can get on there. The best people to manage the cost here. We don't want to have to offload this to a central team doing cost management. Let the integration team do it themselves. Here you can see the history of all the different actions that have happened in the past when we've managed this resource through the schedule. So hopefully this video gives you a demonstration of how simple it is to set up a schedule to optimize different resources. Each team, or every node on that tree, whether it be product team, department, they can have multiple schedules, and you can create subnodes like I've done in the tree if you want to manage different areas of cost within your team, so you can create schedules on those appropriate areas. And it really just allows you to fit the model that works well for your organization. Thank you for listening to today's video. Hope everybody has a great week.